And welcome to Raleigh, Durham, North Carolina. What on earth am I doing in Raleigh, Durham, North Carolina, chasing a nor'easter? That's pretty far from the coast, right? And it's November, so there's not going to be snow. Well, if you've been to the Outer Banks, it's kind of difficult to get there unless you're like within driving distance. Otherwise, it's insane. So you only have a couple options: Raleigh Durham Airport, Norfolk, and that's about it. I chose Raleigh Durham, and right now I am rushing the 3.5-hour drive to get to Raleigh, or to get to Rodanthe, which is kind of mid-Outer Banks, mid-South Outer Banks, to beat the tide, because there's going to be a lot of overwash, there's going to be a lot of wind, there's going to be a little rain. But it's really about the surf and the tides. It's exact opposite of what I just went through 2 weeks ago in Massachusetts with that nor'easter, where it was at the astronomical low side of this tide cycle. Now it's at the astronomical high side, so the king tides. And if you just go right around the Oregon Inlet, there is a spot where it is literally impossible to not have overwash and sand blocking the highway. So that's where I'm trying to get past, to get stuck essentially in the southern part of the Outer Banks for this nor'easter. And so we'll see in about 3 and change from now if I can make it, past that one section of Highway 12 to get in position to show you these massive waves crashing through communities like Avon and over Highway 12, and possibly make a little bit of money. We'll see. Right now, every little bit of this is on me, so it's a gamble. Instead of going to Vegas, I chase storms. That's the gamble. We'll see how it works out. Well, I did it. I made it to the Outer Banks, but I'm still about 30 miles away from kind of the moment of truth. Can I get through? Can I not get through? Mother Nature will decide. You can already feel the wind kind of tugging at the car coming out of the northeast. It's only going to get stronger, so we'll see. You can see the Hatteras Lighthouse shining off in the distance, and I'm here. I made it through, barely. The wind is really starting to whip about 40 miles per hour already, and sand was blowing, some sea foam as well. You just know those typical trouble spots are going to definitely be trouble with the overwash from this system, and I'm here. I'll get stuck, and we'll see how it goes. I love the Outer Banks. All right, talk about an oceanfront room. This motel right here when you get into Buxton and Cape Hatteras, literally in the ocean. Check out this wave action. Really starting to come in with this low pressure system. It's basically a nor'easter. It's a lot different than a hurricane, but I would call this essentially a tropical storm is what we're gonna feel here in the Outer Banks of North Carolina. And you can already see, again, these waves crashing through. They've made temporary dunes trying to protect property, trying to protect Highway 12. A lot of these dunes have already been eroded. That's going to be a problem because we have another more significant high tide cycle in the morning where they expect these dunes up and down Highway 12 from here at Cape Hatteras north to Rodanthe, topped about 2 to 4 feet. That is going to cause a closure of Highway 12. Significant closure. When these waves crash over, they push the sand on there. It takes massive front end loaders to move that sand, and it takes time. I've actually been stuck here in Buxton for 5 days with a similar system and a similar setup. There's several vulnerable spots along Highway 12 where that happens. This is also occurring during the lunar high tide cycle. So this is a king tide. So you not only get the very highest of high tides just with a normal moon cycle, but then on top of that, you get this low pressure system with the wind crashing in from the northeast. and that's when you're going to have problems to property and, of course, Highway 12, people being trapped here in the lower part of the Outer Banks of North Carolina. And I'm going to be here for it all, stuck or not. We'll find out.